Welcome, friends. This is Brevity Sports, coming at you from our caves where we talk major news in major sports. Here with my co-host, Big Z, and myself, Fredo Lay. We are live. It is another episode here with Brevity Sports. We are, in fact, in our caves. However, there is one extra cave tonight. It is not only myself, Fredo Lay, but I got my boy Big Z. Big Z, say hi to the people.
What is up, people?
That's right, baby.
I'm pumped for
He's
tonight.
pumped. He's pumped. And the reason why he's pumped is we have the ever opinionated, the one, the only, the one the people have been waiting for. The people want him. Some people call him people's champion. I don't know how I feel about that because I feel like me and Big Z were already the people's champion, but it's being thrown around. It's Mitchy Muffins. He's in the house. My boy, Mitch. Say hi to the people, Mitch.
What a dooskies, people. How's it going?
Woo!
I'm happy to be your champion. It's because I can't actually win real championships. So happy to be the people's champion.
See, that's what the people don't know is we've been in this fantasy league, me and Mitchy Muffins. We've been in this fantasy league for a long time, and I have signed the belt twice. One person in the league has signed the belt as many times as me, if not more than me and Monique. But Mitchy here has never signed the belt, not one time. But, you know, he's here tonight, so that's kind of a win, right, Big Z? It's a win. That's a win.
One of these days.
Yeah, yes, but how does that make you feel, man? Like, how does it make you feel just never winning?
You know, it's like women when they're like, you know, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Like I'm always second place. I've almost never not been second place. And like all of my friends got married first. All my friends got kids first. But like my wife's better. My kids are better. So like when I get it, it's gonna be like the Chiefs, just never not winning. Basically, when I eventually do start getting
the worst part is his girls are so much cuter than my sons that it's like it's not even close. It's the worst part about it. My baby girl's coming though. Our win is going to seal the show coming in November. I can't wait for it. Here we go. We got a fun episode for everybody coming tonight. Stay tuned. We're going to jump in with some soccer. I know for those of you listening, do not turn off the podcast. Mitchy Muffins is going to tell us why we are wrong, and we do not know what we're talking about here on Brevity Sports. He's going to educate us. He's going to let us know, and then we're going to jump into some fun NFL, some NBA, a little bit of news going on there. I don't know if you heard Big Z. They're doing a mid-season. That's right, mid-season tournament. So stay tuned for that. Big Z, let me know. He's going to walk us through that. Big Z, I'm telling you, this guy was in the office. Okay, he was in the office when the NBA commissioner was talking about this. Big Z was right there, eating a bag of chips, letting them know, hey, this is what the people want. One and done, baby. That's what sells tickets. And then we're going to wrap it all up with some MLB because the MLB is just going off right now. So here we go. We're jumping right in. Here it is. All right. The Gold Cup is going on. USA has just beaten Canada. They're moving on. But a couple episodes ago, Big Z and I were talking about the Gold Cup. We're talking about the Nations League, the CONCACAF Nations League. Here's the thing. I messed up the name 2 episodes in a row. I did not nail the name. I got it wrong both times. And apparently that tournament was 3 times as big as the Gold Cup. And Mitch, my boy, called me. He goes, dude, I'm listening to your podcast. I love your podcast, but you got no idea what you're talking about. Okay. The Nations League, the CONCACAF Nations League is 10 times as big as the Gold Cup. So Mitch, you're here right now. Tell us about soccer. What's going on in the soccer world right now, Mitch? Enlighten us.
Educate us, man. Educate us.
So the Nations League, way bigger than the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup used to be big, like when the Landon Donovans were playing, kind of. It started to fall off. We started inviting people like Qatar to come play in it.
Oh boy, shots fired.
They are countries. Like there are countries that are playing, but most of these countries are barely professional, like elite level. Like most MLS teams would probably just sweep the floor with the St. Kitts, you know. And so we've got the Gold Cup. We're playing in the Gold Cup right now. It's our C team. We've literally got our 3rd or 4th best striker against them, that Jesus Ferreira, who's a great player. He needs to go to Europe to start competing as a number 9, which is more like a center forward position. But he's not even close to our top 2, 3 guys, like really. But he's got the best nickname. You know, if you're a guy for nicknames, he's got the best nickname. He's the Pirate of the Caribbean because he's scored the most hat tricks.
That's
He
cool.
scored 10 goals, the fastest
Wow.
on the U.S. men's national team over any other player, including Landon
Wow.
Donovan, Christian Pulisic in the least amount of games. But he did it against a country, two countries that have less than 50,000 people that live there. So he is the Pirate of the Caribbean. A little bit of breaking news tonight, because we're filming this right now. We just beat Canada, Canada's B team. So our C team is better than Canada's B team. We beat them in
That's
penalties. It was it was super boring, the first part of the game. And then right around 80 minutes, goals started popping off. There was an own goal. Canada scored a goal against themselves. They scored a penalty against us to force overtime, all this stuff. The Gold Cup is great, but it's not the Nations League. The Nations League is what you want to win so you can qualify for the World Cup, so you can qualify for other things like that. That's what we sent our A team to. And our A team did amazing stuff that I'm just, why didn't we do this in the World Cup? Why didn't we do that in the World Cup? And that's because
The competition is a little different,
fair,
right?
fair.
Like compared, yeah, like the Nations League, though it's
Yeah.
everyone's A teams, it's not nearly as massive and as skilled as the World Cup. Like you don't have Europe, you don't have,
yeah.
you know, teams from
Yeah.
Asia. After like you don't have anyone from those other regions.
I
You know,
will
it's still
say-
the CONCACAF.
I
That's
will. I
one
will
thought.
say though, Mexico, right? They've always been ranked
Woohoo!
higher in the World Cup. When we go to the World Cup, they've been ranked higher
Yeah.
than us. And in the Nations League, we beat them pretty handedly. And
Right.
McKinney's jersey
We
got
did.
ripped. It was wild.
Yeah.
Mitch, was that like you as a big soccer fan? Like you
Ah.
watch so much soccer. What was that like for you watching U.S.
I
soccer team
was
just handle Mexico?
jacked, bro. 3-0. Let's go. Yes, that game was amazing. I was a little annoyed that Dest got sent off, but like also showed the depth of our team in the next game that we ended up beating Canada 2-0 without two of our starters, Dest and McKinney. But that game, like we had so much fire. You know, Big Z, to
Yeah.
speak to your point on the level of competition is better in the World Cup. Yeah, of course it is. I mean, we played England, Wales, and that was
Right,
Wales
right.
with you know Gareth Bale in it, and England's an amazing team. And I don't remember. I think it was I forget. But anyways,
Iran.
we
Yeah.
made it. Yeah, Iran. You know, but like we squeaked into the top 14, and that was
Yeah.
Greg Berhalter. Like honestly, so they rehired him. There was a bunch of drama with that, and really we got to see this team. This team was a lot different than the team that went to the World Cup. This is our true A team, and we attacked. We attacked the whole time. We didn't let up, and we saw pieces of what that could look like in the World Cup. We would attack. We scored against Wales, and then we just turtled up, and we're like, we're just going to defend now. We scored one. Why? If we can score 5, go score 5. If they score 2 against us, we won 5-2. Who cares?
That's what I've kind of noticed in the past. Well, we weren't in the previous World Cup before this, but the one in 2014 or something. Like our team never really had any strikers. It's always defense first, and like if we score 1, we're lucky. If we score 2, like that rarely ever happened. And I felt like, yes, like what you said to your point, we had the capability to do that potentially this World Cup, but it just wasn't the full team. Like that wasn't the game plan. It was really defend first, and then let's take advantage of our opportunities. And I saw that now, especially in the last tournament and then the Gold Cup. Like it's a different game plan. It's a different style of play, and it's really fun. And I think that's what we're doing. That's what other teams around the world are doing, and that's what's going to help this game grow in the US, which is what it needs.
Absolutely. I mean, winning in the US helps any game grow. Like, oh, we're winning right now, we're going to grow.
Right.
You know,
True.
but especially it's so fun right now, and that's because Greg freaking Berhalter is not in charge of the game plan. He's kind of in charge of the roster. I really don't know why we rehired this dude. Some of the players are happy. but Triple G, they call him Triple G because it's G, and then there's two G's at the end. He's got a stupid bounce pass that he does if the ball comes to him. But other than that, like that's the only things he's really got going for him. He loves MLS players, and so he's not exciting. He wants to score one and turtle up. That's all he wants to do. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. And a lot of people right now think that we're playing our A team that are watching the Gold Cup because, like you guys said in another episode that you got super right, Paramount Plus only streamed the Nations League for us. Why was it only on streaming? Hello,
Terrible.
Put it on CBS.
It's terrible.
What are you doing? At least Fox is putting on FS1 for the Gold Cup, but this is our C team, and we have to listen to Lexi Lawless and Landon Donovan commentate.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So now we know, right? The CONCACAF Nations League significantly bigger, significantly larger, but we have so many players, McKinney, Pulisic, Dest. We have so many players that are now playing in Europe. So the US right now, we're filming this on a Sunday before you obviously listen to this on like a Wednesday or Thursday. The US is ranked number 13 in the world, right? So for a long time, the U.S. could not break top 15. We certainly weren't ahead of Mexico. Now we're right behind some of the big dogs in the world. Mitch, what is one of the biggest things you've seen in teams of U.S. soccer? Because I know there's a lot of hate coming from guys, and it's kind of hidden, right? Like we got a guy like Landon Donovan talking about where Pulisic should have been playing, following his footsteps. But it almost seems like maybe these guys are intimidated by this new American team that isn't scared of anybody when we're seeing how these guys play against a team like Mexico, like Canada, who was in fact placed ahead of us last World Cup. They won our group. And yet the U.S. is now dealing with them handedly as we're seeing stuff like this. Are these older guys kind of intimidated by the talent that's now on a roster? Like, what are you seeing in U.S. soccer, Mitch?
I don't know if they're intimidated. I mean, I'm nowhere near their level. So of even like the worst of Landon Donovan's teammates, I'm not even close to that, right? So to say that they're intimidated, I don't know if they're intimidated, but I think they're absolutely watching their records are going to be disappearing. I think in 10, maybe 10 at the lowest, but at least 20, 30 years from now, we're going to be saying, Landon, who? Alexilala, what? Like,
wow.
Cash in now, I guess, on your hot takes. And especially Landon Donovan, he's got Wells Fargo ads with Mexico jerseys saying Mexico's my second team. Okay, go have fun, make your hot takes, dude, about people cashing in to come to the MLS because we'll pay them. But Europe is where it's at if we want our players to reach their full potential. Landon didn't have the chops and the resiliency to do what it took to make it in Europe, and that's fine. Landon Donovan is an all-time great USA men's national team player. He's a legend. I mean, the things he did for our team brought us the players that we have today. So the things he did are great. I'm not sure what he's doing now after his career's over. Like, okay, we get it. You couldn't hack it in Europe. But he wants Christian to come play in the MLS because he'll get more money and he'll play every game. But okay, just handing someone and telling them, hey, you're the best here, that's not going to make you great. Telling someone, hey, you're pretty good. This guy's pretty good too. Figure it out. That's what's going to make our players fight that extra fight and really get the full potential of their skills out for our team, right, in the World Cup. And I don't know. So some of the people out there maybe seem to think that, yeah, getting to the quarterfinals might be good for the World Cup. Okay, yeah. You know what? I'll be stoked if we make it to the World Cup in the quarterfinals. I want to win the freaking World Cup. Like, I don't understand why people are just okay. I don't get it. I really don't understand that. So, some people just say, yeah, well, we made it. We made it past the group stage. And
it's kind of like you got to equate it to being like a Laker fan. Like, okay, yeah, we made it to Western Conference Finals. Okay. Yeah. Or a Charlotte Hornet fan. Oh, we made the play-in tournament.
Exactly.
Like, that's great. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're kind of equating to. And we've never had the level of greatness in soccer in the US. Like, we're not used to that. So to most, normal soccer, average soccer fans in the US, that's okay to them, but we need to up that level. We need to heighten it up, because that shouldn't be what we expect. We should expect greatness from these teams. And the fact that a lot of the guys on our roster now are willing to play in Europe and are willing to be challenged, that's huge, because now we can step up and play on the same level, same playing field as the guys in the World Cup. And it's going to be a good competition, as opposed to us just playing the MLS. You're being handed wins, yes, you're the best ever. And then you play the better competition in the World Cup, you're going to get the floor wiped with you. So I think it's great. I love it. And there's a reason why Landon Donovan's teams never won the World Cup, because they never actually had actual competition.
Or barely just made it out of the group stage. And that's
no, Big Z.
They went.
We're not moving off this. Big Z is cooking right now. He's cooking right now, Big Z. So we're going to back to you, Big Z. I got to know, man. We've already talked about it. We're going to talk about it again. Messi is coming to Miami, Big Z. Are you going to check this guy out when he comes to LA? I mean, eventually he's going to play the Galaxy or the LAFC. Are you getting tickets, Big Z?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get tickets. My buddy, he's a season ticket holder for LAFC, so I'm hitting him up. He has 2 seats. I'm going with him when Messi comes into town. Messi's done his time, internationally. So now it's kind of he's at the end of his career. He's nearing there. He's coming because he got some good business deals on the side. Probably has some ownership of MLS. We don't know, but in the end, it's really going to help the game of soccer grow in this country. It's going to be huge. He's going to be obviously the best player in the league for a couple more seasons. But yeah, I'm going to tune in. I'm going to probably watch more MLS games than I have ever, just because of him, just because of the skill level that he has, because he's just a maestro on the soccer field. Like, he's so fun to watch. Even if you're not a big soccer fan, he's just a beautiful player to watch, and he makes the game look so fluent and so easy. So I'm pumped about it. I'm pumped.
He's excited. He's going to go watch Mitchie. This is your boy, Messi. I know I've been a Ronaldo guy in the past. You've been a Messi guy in the past. Messi won the World Cup, so I'm not sure there's an argument to be made anymore. So, Mitch, are you going to watch this guy? Are you doing whatever it takes?
I'm going to do whatever it takes. But I think my wife may have a little bit of a hand on the wallet there. I don't have any ins with friends that are season ticket holders. So Big Z, I might have to lean on you if your friend doesn't want to go. Maybe you'll have to take me as well.
All right.
Yeah, I was trying to float the idea of buying 4 season tickets and then just selling 2 or 3 of the Messi games, and maybe that'll pay for the whole thing. I don't know.
It may. You never know.
And I could just go by myself. But yeah, Messi is huge for the MLS, for soccer in the USA. I mean, he's the biggest name. Even if you're a Ronaldo fan, and you think that there's an idea that there's a competition between the two, sure, you can think that. Fine. You can think that. All right. But Messi, I mean, everyone knows he's got a left foot. Everyone knows he's going to use his left foot, and no one can defend it. Ronaldo's an amazing player. He's done amazing things, but no one has ever been like Messi. And so I hope he just grows the game in the USA even more than it has. But a few things have to happen. One, it has to not cost $3,500 a year to get your kid to be able to play in soccer in the USA. That's so quite a few things have to start happening for soccer to be able to get going here. And
totally.
But Messi's a huge step in the right direction. Absolutely.
100%, man. He is a dog. I mean, watching him do it with Argentina, I mean, again, on the world's biggest stage, we're all excited. Mitch, we're so glad to have you. We really, really are. Dude, it's so much fun having you here. Mitch is going to stay with us the rest of the podcast, right? He's not just here for the soccer takes. He's staying here. So we're going to keep going to him. But Big Z, you're my co-host. So I'm going to have to put you on the hot seat as much as I can, right? You got the hot takes. You got, this is my guy right here. Big Z, the NFL. Okay. We're talking about fantasy football. This is what the people want to know. This is what the people are here for. Every year, somebody has to wear a toilet seat around their head at a draft every year. Somebody sits at a Waffle House until they eat enough waffles to get out of the Waffle House under 24 hours every year. Somebody does some embarrassing thing because they've lost their fantasy football league. You do not want to be that guy. Don't be that guy, right? Mitch has been
Don't
that
be like
guy.
Mitch.
Don't
never
be
been that
like
guy.
Mitch. Don't
I've
ever
never
not
been that
win
guy.
your league. Don't
Second
ever
place.
not win your league. Okay, second to last. Don't ever not win your league. Don't be Mitch in this scenario. Okay, do you want to win? Keep it right here with Brevity Sports. Big Z, the footballers, the big dogs, the guys we listen to. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Two episodes ago, we broke down QBs. Right? So if you didn't listen to that, go back listen. Last episode, we broke down wide receivers. Tonight, we're breaking down their running back top 10. We're going to look at it. We're going to decide if we like the order. We're going to decide if somebody's missing from this league, from this list. Big Z.
Okay.
Here we go. Number 1. You already knew who it was. CMC, the boy, Christian McCaffrey, the number 1, followed by Austin Eckler, followed by Nick Chubb, followed by Josh Jacobs, followed by Derrick Henry, followed by Saquon, Tony Pollard, Bijan Robinson, Ramondre Stevenson, and Jonathan Taylor, falling all the way to number 10. Let's not forget, last year, this dude was 1 or 2, right? In the draft.
Yeah.
If you drafted Jonathan Taylor, you had to have a top probably 4 pick. So Big Z, what do you make of this list? Talk to me.
You know, seeing Jonathan Taylor at number 10, at first you're like, what the heck is going on? But I actually think that's a pretty good placement for him. The Colts are in rebuild mode. He's injury prone the last few years. I think number 10 is good. So people don't draft him with the first couple of picks. I think the top 4 are pretty good rankings. CMC is huge. We kind of alluded to it last episode where he's kind of being a running back tandem with Elijah Mitchell with the 49ers, and Kyle Shanahan uses his weapons very efficiently and very creatively. So CMC is going to get the ball a bunch. He's going to get a lot of touches. Last year, he threw a couple of touchdown passes, so he can do it all. Austin Eckler, he's in a contract year. He wants to prove that he's the guy, that he's going to be able to lift this team on his shoulders. There's a picture that came out of him a couple of weeks ago, and the guy looks super jacked. So he wants to make his extra money, and he's in that contract year. I think he's going to be he's great at number 2. Nick Chubb, yeah, he plays with the Browns, but Nick Chubb's a beast. The guy averages over 5 yards a carry his entire career behind a terrible offensive line that the Browns have. Every single year they have a terrible offensive line, and Nick Chubb still gets over 5 yards a carry. That is just beastly. You have to keep him there. Josh Jacobs, with Derek Carr last year, with as bad as a team that they were, as bad as an offense that they were, he still had a career year. I can't hate on him for being number 4. You kind of have to keep him there. The first iffy take right here, the iffy placement is Derrick Henry. I think that he's really high. I think that the Titans are in rebuild mode. He's starting to wither a bit. He was injured a couple of times last year.
Ooh.
And thirdly, they drafted his replacement in Tyjae Spears. Like, this guy is going to get a lot of touches this year. I think it's going to be a lot more of a running back by committee than most people think. Derrick Henry, yes, you call him King Henry for a reason. He's a beast. But I think there's a reason why they drafted Spears. And I think you can probably take Derrick Henry out of the top 10. That's my hot take for the night. I think that he goes out of the top 10 when the season's done. Saquon Barkley should be up at number 5. I think Tony Pollard, Bijan Robinson are a little bit too high because Ramondre Stevenson is a beast. He's listed at number 9 here. I think that he should be number 7. He finished last year top 7 in the all PPR formats with only scoring 6 touchdowns, which is crazy. So that means he gets a lot of reception yards, a lot of rushing yards. He averaged 5.2 passing targets per game in the league, which was 3rd in the league behind CMC and Austin Eckler last year. And now that Damian Harris has gone, he's not on the Patriots anymore. I think that he's going to be a true number 1 running back for the Patriots, which gives him a big step up. And I think that he's going to be, like I said, right behind Saquon. And Tony Pollard, Bijan Robinson, those guys are skilled. Bijan Robinson's obviously a rookie, but he's a beast. So we've all seen what he can do at Texas. But I think that you need to probably bring up Joe Mixon out of the number 12 slot, and he put him to the top 10, and then take out take out Derrick Henry. So that's my take. I think you're going to win your league if you listen to my takes. So that's it. That's for me.
I think you're going to win your league if you listen to my take. Listen, I don't think anybody here is going to make an argument. CMC and Austin Eckler. Those dudes are automatic. The Chargers only got better with Kellen Moore coming from the Cowboys. Again,
Exactly.
we've said it on this podcast before. If you know what we think about Dak Prescott and the Cowboys offense, you already know we think that highly of Kellen Moore. I think Dallas falls apart this year. Without Kellen Moore, he's going to be great for the Chargers. I love to see it. Nick Chubb finally getting the respect he deserves. Plus, his second part is gone now, right? So Nick Chubb is the dude.
Right.
He's going to get he's going to get your running downs. He's going to get your passing downs. Nick Chubb is not going to fall far. Josh Jacobs, we saw what he could do. I agree with you, Big Z. I cannot lie. Derrick Henry, I do not like how high he is on this list.
No.
Again, the Titans did not get better from last year. They did nothing to get better. Did nothing to make their situation better. And when you see a guy like Saquon Barkley, who looked fantastic last year, granted, we know there's some contractual issues going on right now. I believe they're going to figure it out. But
fine. Yeah.
To put him behind Derrick Henry, I don't like that. Tony Pollard behind them, I get it. Tony Pollard, we don't know if he's going to be able to put up an entire year of what he does. I think personally, Tony Pollard was honest last year. When Tony Pollard came out, he had a couple balling games. The media asked him, "Hey, Tony, can you keep this up?" He had a very honest moment before he backtracked on it per his agent. He said, "Look, I need Zeke. Okay. I need a guy like Zeke. It's a lot on my body. I'm tired. It's hard." And of course, later on, he came back and said, "I'm good. I didn't mean that," whatever it was. I think he was being honest. I think Tony Pollard knows that he needs another back to help him out. I think Tony Pollard knows he cannot be a 3-4 down back. I know that he can't do that. He knows he can't do that. So I do like him where he's at, maybe even a little bit lower, because I agree with you. The snub here in my mind is Ramondre Stevenson. This dude was the Patriots offense. We saw Mac Jones screaming at Matt Patricia, "Let me throw the ball down the field. Let me throw the ball down the field." And then he threw the ball down the field. He got intercepted. He got sacked. He was trash. We are not fans of Mac Jones here. Maybe Mitch is. No. I don't know. We'll find out in a second. But again, Ramondre Stevenson was the dude. He was the dog. Yeah. He was the workhorse. This is a guy you want on your team. And again, he's only going to get more touches. He is in the same realm for me as Nick Chubb this year. He's going to get passing downs. He's going to get running downs. I mean, this is the guy. If you can get him on your team, please do. I agree. Joe Mixon, he is not going to be handcuffed with P. Ryan. Oftentimes, some of those things that take place, right? If pieces move, running backs benefit from pieces leaving. Mixon will benefit from P. Ryan leaving. P. Ryan, he is a great back, right? When you look at the Broncos backfield, that is going to be even if their premier running back comes back, even if the premier running back comes and is healthy this year, P. Ryan is still going to have to split those carries because they are going to mesh. Okay. So Ramondre Stevenson, 100%, you got to get him on the list. And then Jonathan Taylor, for me, I know he got injured. He's way too low for me. Jonathan Taylor, the Colts got a rookie quarterback. Jonathan Taylor is going to have to be their workhorse. He's going to stay healthy. He's going to have a great year. I would love, if I was the 10th pick of the draft, if I was maybe the 3rd pick of the 2nd round, and Jonathan Taylor's sitting there.
Oh yeah, at that low.
Come on, son. You got to get him. This is a guy who was a top 3-4 pick last year. Jonathan Taylor, especially if you're in the 2nd round, if you get to that turn and you see the boy, Jonathan Taylor, you better think about it. Mitch,
yes.
What do you think about this list? Who are you moving around?
Oh, man. Well, first of all, I got to go with, you guys said there's no argument. No one's arguing. I'm absolutely arguing with CMC. I've been hurt. I've been that number 1 pick, and I picked CMC, ACL. That's what I call him, because he did me dirty. Okay. I picked him. I was like, this is the number 1. this is going to be my guy. I still got second place in the league, even though he was gone for the whole season. So farewell ACL. If I'm number one pick, I'm not picking CMC. Absolutely not. I can't trust him.
The
He's
situation,
going to be
though.
healthy now. It's a better situation. I can't trust him.
He was healthy all year last year.
Sure, he was healthy all year last year, but
Niners,
the rest of the Niners weren't. I can't trust anybody on that Niners team. I can't. No. That being said, if I'm number 2, I'm probably picking up CMC.
What a noodle take. What a noodle take.
Come on,
It's
you
a
wet
super
noodle.
noodle take. But it's the only Niner I'll pick on my damn team. To be honest with you, it's a really good list. I hear you guys talking about Ramondre Stevenson. Maybe I'm just disrespecting that take a little bit. I know he did great things. Personally, I think that a lot of defensive teams just didn't see him coming. But I think they're going to see him coming a little bit this year. I think they're going to be prepared for that. So I'm not taking Ramondre at that level. And then this is going to be my super biased hot take. I had the same biased hot take last year. I was super wrong, but I don't blame Najee. It's not Najee's fault. It wasn't his fault. Man. I am absolutely.
He's a big Steelers fan. This is like the steel curtain resurrected.
Yeah, and you know what? I gotta address something. This podcast, okay, you guys talk a lot of stuff about a lot of weird little intricacies in the NFL, and you guys always leave out my boy Kenny Pickett, Deontay. Like, where?
What's there to talk about those guys?
Deontay's bro. We are easily the quietest great team this year, and I think we're gonna surprise a lot of people this year. Hey, you know what? I'm happy for you to eat your words. If you want to make a bet,
what? You know why his name is Pickett? Do you know why his name is Pickett? Because on the picket fence between winners and losers, Kenny Pickett's on the wrong side. You know what I mean? Like it's in his name. Like this,
man. Hey, not a lot of quarterback. I think really only Tom Brady's the only quarterback really that had to have rules made specifically for him, right? With the tuck rule. But Kenny Pickett's up there with fake sliding. I don't see any other quarterbacks being creative like that. I mean, the dude's a dog. You guys have even said on this podcast talking about how long people were in college and how that translates into the big leagues. Kenny Pickett was for 4 years. Like he's got the experience. True. He's got the mentality. Okay, so he's got a little bit of small hands. Okay, big deal. But I think the boy's a dog. And last year, once they started playing him, he was the only one with heart on that team, man. I mean, so that's my Steelers pick. I'm gonna move Najee up into number 10. Okay. I'm not gonna go crazy.
Who are you taking out then?
Who am I taking out? I'm gonna take out Jonathan Taylor. I think he's great. If I'm the 11th pick and he's there, like Fredo said, I'm at that turn. I'm gonna think about him. He did get injured a little bit. I think that new quarterback's gonna be running a lot. And so I don't know with the Jonathan Taylor stuff. But I think Saquon should be higher. I think Derrick Henry maybe should go down one more. I think he's the only thing going for that offense, and I think he's still King Henry, man. I mean, like there's a reason every year.
I didn't. My take of him being too high wasn't because of his skill level. It's because of how much they use him.
Yeah.
And on that team, like you said, there was no one on that team. They did not get better. Nope. And so I think that they're going to have to be a committee this year because he's just going to be the workhorse for the first 4 or 5 games. And I think it's going to catch up with him. Everyone's human. And he's King Henry. He's a beast, but dude, that's a tough division too, that they play in. And you get beat up, and especially when it starts getting colder outside and playing in the snow. Yeah, man, you may need some fresh legs with Spears to help him. Out with that load. That's the reason why, not because of his skill level is diminished. It's because of how much he's going to take a pounding every single week.
100%.
That being said, though, Mr. Henry, if you would like to come to the Steelers franchise, we would love to have you. I would root for you. I would buy your jersey.
What about Najee?
That'd be a good
Najee
thunder
would
and
be a
lightning.
great number 2.
That would be
or
a good
you
thunder
know,
and lightning.
a little
Najee
thunder, a little
and-
lightning.
Yeah.
I'm just
Najee
saying.
and King Henry. That'd be lit.
They're both
Let me-
Alabama. Yeah, I'm just hey.
I'll be honest about Najee. I have him in my dynasty league. I actually traded for him this offseason. And I had him in another league last year and he did not do well, but I don't think it was his fault. I think there was just a lot of things going on around him that was out of his control. And I have a feeling this is only his third season. Like he had a great first year and people have really they've kind of
Written
thrown him
him off.
away and like, no, he's not good. He's a bust. I'm like, no, dude, this guy's from Alabama. Like this guy's a winner.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna have a bounce back year. He could definitely get into the top 10 for sure. I think so. Yeah, I agree with you. There.
For all those reasons, which is why I'm a little bit higher on Jonathan Taylor, because Anthony Richardson, he's not going to be this accurate pocket passer. It's going to be play action after play action, rollout after rollout. And Jonathan Taylor, he's going to feed him the ball. It's going to feed him the ball all day long. Again, if you're in the second round and Jonathan Taylor's there, okay, and you're picking between in the second round, now let's be honest, when you're doing these mock drafts, right, you're looking at guys like Garrett Wilson, Olave in the second round, like that.
Right.
That's our second, third round. That's how early these guys are going. Okay. So if you're in the second round and Jonathan Taylor's there and you're at the fifth pick, you got to get this guy. Okay. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you. This is, I love fantasy football because this is going to change. And Big Z and I are going to cover it again. Maybe we'll have Mitch back. You know, he's definitely going to be on our mock draft episode. I'll tell you that for sure. He's going to be here. And we're going to be talking about that. Moving right along the NBA. If you're not watching the Summer League, it's fun. It's guys trying to make the league who kind of have a shot. Some are definitely in the league because they were drafted. They're getting paid. But other guys are like, this is their dream. They played in the G League. This is their moment to shine, and it's really fun to watch. But speaking specifically, Big Z, the Spurs picked this dude. I'm going to let you introduce him. He played game 1, and I'm just going to say he had 9 points. He was 2 of 13. He had 8 rebounds, 5 blocks, 3 assists, 3 turnovers. And I was listening. As these commentators talked about this was the next potential GOAT of GOATs. People were saying this guy is going to be better than LeBron. That's what I was hearing. My boy Jason, the showman Strowman. He's not here to defend himself, but he was telling me this was going to be the next big thing. He's going to be better than Dirk, right? That's not necessarily what I want to see from the dude who's going to be the GOAT of GOATs. But Big Z, introduce this guy. Tell us what you saw from him. What do you think? Come on, Big Z, talk to us.
All right. So his name is Victor Wembanyama, or as everyone calls him, Wemby, if you guys can't pronounce his last name. So Wemby is what we'll call him here on Brevity Sports. And look, yes, he is supposed to be the next thing, the next coming of LeBron, of whatever great European athlete or NBA player before him. And to be honest, he had 9 points. And I don't give a rat's ass that he had 9 points in the Summer League game. This guy is still talented. Like, who cares? It's a Summer League game. And one of the reasons why he only scored 9 points was because whenever he got the ball, his whole team just stopped playing basketball and just stared at him the whole game. And he had to do everything else. It was like he was playing a 1-on-5. That was it. And because they were so in awe, like, what are you going to do with the ball? How are you going to score? Are you going to shoot a 3? Are you going to dunk it like you did in Europe? So yes, I think that it's the media overreacted to this. And as Mitch just pointed out in our text chat, he had 27 points tonight. Like, he went off. Everyone kind of were like, okay, we took a deep breath. Let's just play the game of basketball and let you play your game. His teammates played around him. They played off the ball. They let him do his thing. And everything was fine in the universe. I think it's okay. And look, the guy's 19 years old. And the other night was probably the most watched Summer League game in the history of the Summer League. So I'm going to give him a break for this. think it's okay that he scored 9 points in the first game, especially given the fact that he scored 27 tonight and completely dominated. The fact is, the guy is 7'3". He dribbles like he's a point guard. He can pass the ball like he's a point guard. He can finish. He can shoot threes. He has the skill sets to be great in this league. He needs to get some meat on his bones because he's super skinny, but that will happen when he's under the Spurs leadership. They're going to make him, the training staff, they're going to make him have a correct diet so he can bulk up. He's going to be fine. He's going to be great. I'm not saying that he's going to be as great as LeBron James and be the all-time leading scorer, but I think that he definitely has a chance to be the greatest player that's ever come out of Europe, in my opinion. So I think it's fine. We need to not overreact with one summer league game, and we shouldn't overreact with the second one too. Like, he's not going to average 27 points his first year either. So, but he's a great talent. He's a great talent.
What do you think, Mish? Come on, dude, jump in here. What do you think about this guy? What do you think about Wemby?
I mean, I was like, I'm not a Spurs fan. I'm a Bulls fan. So I was like, oh, look at that. He sucked his first game. And I immediately was like, he sucks forever. And then tonight he scored 27. And I was like, okay, well, maybe okay, he's probably good. Damn it. Dang it. But for me, he's got an all-time security team. How can you be in Vegas and backhand Britney Spears? Wowzers. Like, I mean, LeBron couldn't do it. Kobe couldn't do it. Michael couldn't do it. Like, none of their security teams could backhand Britney Spears and just be get out of here, lady. So the guy's got a special place in my heart, just for that. I'm excited to see what he does in the league. The Spurs are always consistent. They've always been consistent in terms of how they do things, their regiment. They're a great team. How they got the number one pick, they just got the number one pick because they weren't great. But I think that he's going to help them turn that franchise around a little bit again. And I think we're going to see some great things from him and from them for a really long time.
Here's the moment that I wasn't worried about Wemby. I'm telling you right now. It was NBA.com. He had a quote right after the game. Right, they're interviewing this kid. Cameras in his face. The lights are flashing. Reporters surrounding him. This is the next coming. This is the dude. This is the guy. This is the first pick. And he just laid an egg on the court, right? He didn't have a great first game. We'd all admit he didn't have a great first game. But this was his response. And this is what I loved about the guy. He came right out, right? And he said, it's really an honor overall, right, to wear their jersey. And I'm glad we won this game. Honestly, I didn't really know what I was doing on the court tonight, but I'm trying to learn for the next games. The important part is to be ready for the next, for the season. That's the important part, is to be ready for the season. As soon as he said that, with that level of honesty, look, it was a big moment. I was the first pick. I heard the hype. I knew I was the guy, and I came over here. I put on a Spurs jersey. This is my childhood dream. This is everything I wanted in my entire life, and the moment was big. I got excited. My teammates weren't moving. They were all watching me play, as Big Z so wisely pointed out. Look, I'm just trying to get ready for the season. As soon as he was that honest and that candid, it was a bit like watching Jokic to me. I'll be honest with you. Jokic winning the finals. Somebody saying, you excited for the parade? And he's like, dude, I got to go home. I got to feed my horses. I got to ride in the canoes. I got to do whatever else I got to do. Okay, I got to go hunting. I just want to hang out with my brothers on the farm with our horses. That's what I want. Right. And he ended up having a great time. Right. We also joked the Joker have a great time. Look, that is that same mentality to me, that blatant honesty. That's honestly, it's so refreshing to me.
Yeah, totally.
Right. We see all these stars in the NBA have all these excuses. Oh, but yeah, I was tired. Oh, my ankle hurt. Oh, I got this bum shoulder. Right. Oh, the play calling just wasn't in my favor. I don't know why I wasn't on the court, for 3. I don't know why I was on the court for the last 3 minutes. Whatever it is. But you're all these guys. Oh, I didn't rest enough. Oh, it was bad. Wemby just came out and said, look, dude, this is my first game. It was honestly, I was so honored and so hyped to be here. I'm just looking forward to the next game. I'm looking forward to learning. I'm looking forward to a great NBA career. I love that from this guy. And I think he's got the perfect coach in Popovich. I think he's going to pair super well.
Mm-hmm.
That humility, that humble mentality. I think when I look at this guy, I can't help but to see a possible like Duncan type player who can turn his league around for the Spurs. Just a dude that nobody, when you talk about NBA greats, no one ever talks about Duncan, who is unquestionably one of the all-time greats, the leader. Tony Parker is not Tony Parker without Duncan. You know, Ginobili's not Ginobili without Duncan. Like, this is just that dude, the silent assassin, the guy that Shaq openly said he could not get in his head. Shaq talked about it. He could get in everybody's head. He could not get in Duncan's head, right? It never happened. Duncan would just look at him like, okay, and then walk away. Like, this guy was so mentally strong. So I love that from Wemby. I'm not going to lie. However, having said that, something that might mess with Wemby, might mess with the NBA, it just recently got announced. Again, we're filming this on a Sunday night. It just got recently announced in the last few days. There's going to be an in-season NBA tournament. Winner take all. Here a couple things before we get into this, just so the fans know. All of the games will count towards your regular season record, except for the championship. So just know that right now. Outside of the championship game, every team is still only going to play 82 games, and all of these games are going to count. Okay. It's a one game winner take all. Winner gets 500,000. Runner up gets 200,000 per player. Quarterfinals get 50,000. Okay. Big Z, this is your sport, Big Z. You love the NBA. Are you loving this? What do you think about this tournament? What do you give us some thoughts. How do you see this going?
The past couple of seasons, I've heard that this has been in talks for like the last 15 years. Like, they've been wanting to implement this, like a European style. MLS has this. A lot of European leagues have this. But I always wondered how they were going to do it, especially given the fact that all these teams, all these superstars are into the load management thing. And so I was always asking myself, how are they going to put extra games into the already super long 82 season schedule? And now it comes out that these games are actually going to count towards your regular season record. But when they play these games, it's going to be between November 3rd and November 28th. And when they play these tournament games, they're going to be called tournament nights. And this is just something to me that they're just trying to boost their ratings. For some average basketball fan that doesn't really know the inner workings of the NBA schedule, I think, oh, it's a tournament night. It's something special. But in all reality, it really isn't, because you're playing the same teams you would have played. Like, they're being placed in these pools based off of the regular season records from the previous season, but you're still going to play those teams regardless. And for me, I wonder how the NBA is going to handle it when guys like Kawhi Leonard, like Anthony Davis say, well, tonight's a second night of the back-to-back, and I'm going to sit out this tournament night. I wonder what that's going to do, because that's going to hurt their ratings again, right? Because no one wants to watch an Anthony Davis-less Lakers, right? No. A Kawhi Leonard-less Clippers. And so to me, I don't understand it. I don't think that $500,000 per player for the winner is an incentive for these players, because they have millions of dollars, because they're only going to get
stars.
From the stars, but for the rookie, yeah, I guess for the rookies, yes, a little bit. But yeah, I just, it's just weird to me. It really is. I just think it's their ratings have been struggling during the regular season the past 5 seasons. No. And I think this is just kind of like, they're just crying out saying, how can we get creative to boost these ratings? How are we going to get more people to watch this? To me, it's not going to raise the stakes. Like, I'm not going to tune in November to watch the Lakers because it's a tournament game. I'm going to tune into the Lakers because I just want to watch the Lakers play on a Friday night. You know,
I love how pensive your voice is right now. Like you're like I agree. Like when I look at this thing, I'm so unsure when I was reading this, Big Z, and I read only $500,000 is like, okay, the players that are going to care about $500,000 are not at all the players that you're targeting, right? Like the dude on the bench who never gets to play, like he cares about 500,000. The guy that's literally making 600,000 or whatever the veteran minimum is in the NBA, he cares about the 500,000. But these other dudes, the Kawhis, they don't. Mitchie, let me just say this, by the way. If you're not watching us on YouTube right now, purely just do it for Mitch, okay? His faces, everything, it's fantastic. This is the saddest I've ever been that we have sort of this revolving thing. When you watch us on YouTube, you only see who's talking. And if you could just see the faces, which no one will ever get to see, it was just so sad.
Make a noise, Mitch.
Yeah, you got to make a noise, Mitch. But some of these faces, some of the faces this guy is making, you know, his grandma walked in earlier. We got to hear her for a second. That was dope. And so you got to see his face for that. But like some of these other things, when you're watching him listen to Big Z, it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Mitch, what do you think about this, man? You're a Bulls fan. And honestly, let me just lead you in here. The Bulls are trash. And so this is an opportunity to win something for once. Are you excited?
Yes, I'm excited to take the championship of this tournament series back to Chicago, our first since Michael Jordan left. But all kidding aside, you guys talked about like how are we gonna make this interesting. I've got a couple ideas. Adam Silver, I know you're watching. You can pretend that you're not watching, but I know you are. All right, we could say maybe he is, but I know you're watching. Adam Silver. Two things. One, relegation. Let's bring some Europe to the USA. Relegate the worst team. I'm talking NFL. Worst team, relegated. MLS, relegated. Everybody gets relegated because you know what? That's what these superstars, these billionaires that own these teams don't care. They really don't care. Oh, we won. That's great. Let's throw a parade. All right, great. But we didn't win. We still cashed in. Throw relegation on the line. No, you don't get first pick anymore. First pick is for the team from the other league that got promoted. They get first pick in the draft. Let's talk about that. I don't want that anymore. I don't want to get relegated, right? Let's see some of those G League teams playing in this tournament series. You want to see guys that have heart, that have something on the line. You want to see some guys that want to make 500 grand. Oh, I think we start seeing some people make it a little interesting. You know, we in America, we love that romance story of like when we see March Madness, that team that wasn't supposed to make it past the first night, wasn't supposed to make it in the tournament, and they're like, they made it past the first night, they're gonna win the whole thing. Like, let's have some of that. But so I'm a big fan of relegation. I think that we've got it too easy. In a lot of these sports teams, especially in soccer. I know I'm not supposed to bring it back to soccer, but in Europe, like that's how it is. You got last place. You're not in the big league anymore. You're down there. You can work your way back up. And maybe that's what we need. We can start filtering people in, and maybe that's also the call to action in college sports. I don't think everybody needs to go to college, and it's kind of okay. I have to go to college for a year. Like, okay, if you have to, that solves a lot of NIL stuff. So I'm a big fan of relegation. But the tournament series, I can't wait for the Bulls to win it because we're gonna play our full squad at full force the whole time.
And if you don't know what Mitch is talking about, my boy Mitchie, FA Cup in Europe every year. Multiple teams come from all over the brackets. You do not need to be the Premier League. You can be the English Series A or whatever it's called, the teams below them. They get to play against the big squad. So if you can imagine for a second, the Lakers playing against their G League team, Anthony Davis sits, and the G League Lakers beat the actual Lakers. That's what we're discussing here. Like it's just
awesome.
I feel like you have to, I agree with this. And I love that take, Mitch, because I feel like you have to involve the pride of these players, which is something that's been missing, right? When we see the quotes from the Kobe's, right? Like we've talked about it before with his wife talking about, when, at the funeral, that Kobe was unwilling to sit a game because of, what about that one fan who saved up money in Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
What about that one fan who saved up money in Washington? What about that one fan who saved up money in the middle of the, whatever, name Denver, name that city to watch him play? It just seems like it's no longer there. It's all about, this is the second night in a row I can't play, right? I'm a little sore. I can't play. We remember, the three of us remember Kobe Bryant sitting there with ice packs all over his freaking body, shoulder, chest, knees, ankles, just ice packs. The dude looked like a blob of just ice, right? Like we remember that so he could play the next night. And that's the mentality, right? I agree with you, Big Z. I don't like that there's nothing to this tournament. I love where Mitch went with that. The NBA, if you're going to have this tournament, you've got to figure out a way for it to matter to these players, whether it's relegation, whether that's pride, you're losing to a G League team, whatever it is, you've got to figure out a way to make these players care, because right now they don't. And if we're being honest, again, 82 games, for those that are listening to this, the NBA is no longer a contact sport. Okay. It's not. Every once in a while you get a hard foul and that's bad. And it's usually a flagrant, right? We saw so many flagrants be tossed around this year. It's not even funny. Hockey plays the same amount of games. Because I don't want to hear that excuse. I don't want to hear, the players can't keep up. Hockey plays the same amount of games. Okay. And hockey is actually physical. So the idea that like I should feel bad for you for playing 82 games, you're getting paid $200 million, whatever it is, for 82 games. People might be like, "Oh, what about baseball?" Baseball is playing 162 games. That's why they make $300 million every day. Yeah. And guess what? Mookie Betts is playing night in and night out. Mookie Betts does not take a day off. Freddie Freeman does not take a day off. Bryce Harper, unless he's injured, does not take a day off. Name your team. Boston Red Sox for Mitchy Muffins, right? Justin Turner does not take a day off, right? Bogarts does not take a day off. All of these guys, Manny Machado, if you're a Padres fan, does not take a day off. Name your team. They do not take days off consistently. The NBA has a problem right now. They're the only major sport. And yes, I'm stumbling on my words because it's so frustrating. Even just thinking about it in the offseason, these guys are getting paid to play a game and they're taking days off. Are you kidding me? You are getting paid. You're getting paid to play a child's game, basketball, and you're taking days off. Insane to me. Insane. I like where the NBA's head's at in getting players to play and trying to move their sport forward, but they missed it. Right. They missed it right now. And the fact that I read an article when I was reading the article about this, Big Z, that you sent me, what they talked about was, they were thinking about having the winner of this tournament have an automatic bid into the playoffs. But they're like, no, it's not a good idea, because then if they get a natural bid into the playoffs, then, they might rest their players the rest of the season. Are you serious right now? Like, is that how bad the NBA is doing? Like, is that where the NBA is at? That if we can sit, we just will. And if we can rest players, we just rest players. And it's so pathetic. What about all of your season ticket holders? Like, if you're an NBA player and you're listening to this podcast, and you're hearing the passion of my voice, I'm calling you out. And argue with me. Please come on to Brevity Sports and argue with me and tell me that I'm wrong. And if you're an NBA big fan and you're sitting here listening to me and you're upset with me, please come on, be Mitchy Muffins, argue with me, because all I'm seeing right now is a bunch of crybabies who don't want to play night in, they don't want to play night out, and they don't give frankly a rat's ass about their fans. It's insane, it's pathetic, and they have no pride in just winning games. Last I checked, I don't like losing. It could be tennis. It could be whatever it is, man. Like, I don't even play sports. Okay. I played in a softball game. I hadn't played all season, and your boy was running like I was in the World Series, because it's pride. I was not going to be the reason that team lost. Big Z, you get on the court, I'm limping around right now because I made the mistake of thinking I was still 20 years old, playing basketball of all things. I got bumped by a dude while I was in the air and I twisted my ankle, but I out rebounded 2 guys because, again,
That's right,
my
baby.
pride. I was going to get the ball. Where is the pride for these dudes? What happened to the drive to just not be a loser?
Yeah, it's Adam Silver, man.
Why are we so content being losers? I don't understand this. It's
Adam
it's got to
Silver.
me.
It's a players' league. The players control the league now. Adam Silver, look, he has given all control back to the players because he's scared of them. He's scared of what they're going to do, that they're going to sit out more games because they have a sore ankle, a sore knee. He is scared. So he's trying to do everything that he can that's not going to piss them off so that they're going to show up every single night. But there is nothing that he can do because he needs to actually throw the hammer down. You know why no one likes Rob Manfred? You know why no one likes Roger Goodell? Because they throw the hammer down on their players. Yet those leagues are growing while the NBA is suffering. They are declining in viewership, and they're not the league that they used to be. The MLB is growing because Rob Manfred did some unpopular things, but it's actually helping the league grow. Roger Goodell has never been liked, but the NFL is king. So yeah, Adam Silver, you need to change your mentality. You need to be more David Stern-like, because without that, without dropping the hammer, this league is going to die. In 10, 15 years, it's going to be on the level that MLS is, and MLS is going to pass it up because MLS is growing. So you need to stop listening to your players who don't really give any effort into playing, and you need to start listening to the fans, because this tournament is trash. It's not going to get the job done. I have a curveball for you, and it's also about a trash player that got a huge contract in the NBA. And this is part of the reason why the NBA has such a big problem. This guy got a 4-year, $80 million deal.
You better not say Brooks. I don't know what you're going to say, but you better not say Brooks.
Who I'm talking about, I think you do know. And it is Dylan Brooks. This guy,
oh my God,
is one of the trashiest players this league has. But because it's so player dominated, these teams are just willing to give out money to anyone. Let me just give you his stats from last year. He averaged 14 points a game, 3 rebounds, and 2.6 assists per game while shooting 39% from the field. No, not 39% from 3, 39% from all of his shots were from 30. That's what he averaged. So in my opinion, that is not someone who I want to give $20 million a year to. All the big media pundits were saying that he was going to play in China this next year because no team was going to pay him the money that he wanted. Yet the Houston Rockets, God bless them, but the Houston Rockets, there's a reason why they're such a lowly team, because they gave him that much money. I don't know what you guys think about this, but it is insane to me that this guy got that contract. It's crazy.
I thought I went on my soapbox like a couple minutes ago, and I don't even know that I have words for this. Most effective thing that Brooks did last year, and there's somebody here sitting here, oh, he was NBA all first team. It didn't show in the playoffs. Let me just stop you right there. It didn't show in the playoffs. His team was trash. He was trash. They got dominated. Listen, the best thing he did last year was a stupid dance out of the tunnel. That was like the biggest highlight of this dude's entire year last year. I have no words other than the Rockets. If you're a Rocket fan, like, I thought Bulls were going to have a bad year because it's the Bulls. But Mitch, you got to feel great about this. You're going to be better than the Rockets.
Hey man, you know why Arkansas loves Mississippi? Because if it wasn't for Mississippi, Arkansas would be the worst state in the entire union. And so as a Bulls fan, I love this move by the Rockets. I love them. They are my Mississippi. I will love them forever for this, or at least for the next 4 years.
There's not words. This dude, his defense, it was okay. Like, LeBron dominated him. A lot of guys dominated him. And this is a 38-year-old LeBron.
I know. Just
He's not stopping anybody. Just a dumb move. And the NBA, I'm just going to say it, man. Look, last year you had a good run with the NBA playoffs. Your ratings were up.
Yeah.
Initially, you didn't take advantage of it. You didn't capitalize. You didn't capitalize on podcasts like ours, Brevity Sports, bringing you to the forefront. You're shooting us down. You're not making your players care. And you got to figure it out. On the flip side of that, because we're done talking about the negativity that is the NBA and a league that has figured it out, where the commissioner said, no longer will we watch the Red Sox and the Yankees play each other 19 times. No longer will we watch the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks square off 19 times. No longer will we watch the Brewers and the Cardinals square off 19 times. No longer will we watch the Astros and the A's square off 19 times. We're going to have interleague play every year, every season. Every team will play as many other teams as possible. Don't care what league they're from. So the Dodgers are going to play the Yankees. The Red Sox are going to play the Padres. The big market teams are going to the small market teams. The big dogs are playing the small dogs. The big dogs are playing the big dogs. Doesn't matter who you are. Nobody's safe. Everybody's playing everybody. And now we're seeing stars being born over in Major League Baseball. And if you're not watching, listen, we've talked about it. We've harped on it. You've got to understand the MLB is growing. We've got a guy like De La Cruz who didn't even need 3 swings of a bat to steal 3 bases, right? He stole second on one. He stole third on another. And then he went home. Mitchie, come on, dude. You're a soccer guy, but what do you think about that?
I first of all, stealing home is like something I can't even do in a video game. I still don't really understand how you steal home. Like you have to walk past the pitcher has to look at you almost like, oh, you're gonna go over there, and he just did it. The dude didn't. You said 3 swings of the bat. It wasn't even 2 swings of the arm, man. I mean, it was 2 pitches. And he steals second. All right, everybody steals second. I could probably steal second. Don't hold me to that. But then he steals third and then walks home. Like, what? This dude is on another level. I can't wait for him to be a Red Sox. I can't wait to buy his jersey.
I love your homer takes.
How to say your name.
I love your homer takes. And the best part about it was, if you haven't seen this video, if you're listening to this podcast, you're watching the YouTube, you're watching the Instagram, because we're certainly going to highlight the segment. Go YouTube, go Google De La Cruz steals home. The dude fixes his hair between third base and home. He takes off his helmet.
I love
after stealing third, fixes his hair, like throws his hair back, looks at the pitcher, puts his helmet back on, and has time to get home. Big Z, you're not supposed to be able to do this. This is not something that you're supposed to be able to do.
The guy's a star. Like, he's already in an ad for Mission Impossible, for the new one. Like, they filmed an ad 2 weeks ago because this guy is such a star. He's going to sell movie tickets because he's that well known. And he literally just came into the league like a month and a half ago. This guy is off the charts. And Fredo and I were texting the other night about him and Corbin Carroll, right? Who's going to be the rookie of the year? And yeah, we kind of both agreed that Corbin Carroll probably gets it because he's been in the league this whole time. But if De La Cruz keeps up the way he's playing at the pace he's playing, it's going to be tough to beat him because he brings so much relevancy to the game. Brings so much relevancy to the Cincinnati Reds, who have been bottom dwellers for so long. Like, people want to watch him even more than they wanted to watch the Cincinnati Reds when Ken Griffey Jr. was traded to them years ago. Like, that's how big of a talent this guy is. And he plays the game just like a little child plays the game. And that's not a knock on him. He just plays it with a passion, with a love for the game. And I love that when you get to see guys do that on night in and night out basis, it makes baseball fun. It makes me want to show my kid, look at how this guy plays. This is how you should play, because he plays the game right. And he plays it with a ferocity. He plays it so well. And he's not just hitting the ball as hard as he can. He's not just running the bases. He's actually, he's very smart. He has a very high IQ. He's choosing to steal those bases because he's studying how the pitcher is throwing, his motion, everything. He's a very smart player. So I love it. I love this guy. It makes it so fun to watch. And I love that he's one of the top highlights on SportsCenter. This guy on the Cincinnati Reds who just came in the league, he's the top highlight on SportsCenter. I think that's huge. And we'll just keep beating the dead horse here. But guys like Ellie De La Cruz is the reason why MLB is growing in popularity. And I love it because we're baseball homers and it's great.
Here's the biggest thing for me, right? When we're talking about a team like the NBA, when we're talking about a sport like the NBA, when we're talking about a league like the NBA, and then we're talking about a league like the MLB, right? 82 games versus 162 games. And yet the MLB right now, for me, is unquestionably more exciting. You have guys engaged. You have guys making chases. You have guys trying to win, guys trying to get into first place. Every division right now is tight. Every division, the Padres, who are not supposed to be struggling, are still only 6.5 games out of the wild card. Right. They're trying to make a push. You've got teams from every corner of baseball trying to make a push. The expanded playoffs, every team is involved. Every team is in it. Nobody's sitting. Everybody's stealing. Stolen bases are up. Averages are up. Home runs are up. Runs are up. Pitching, strikeouts are up. Everything is up. Everything in the MLB, it's all up. You see a guy like Mookie Betts doing things he hasn't done in years. He just hit 10 leadoff home runs. It's never happened. The dude, he's balling. He's out of control. Yeah. You see guys across the MLB, Carroll coming on. I'm not just a rookie. I'm going to carry the Diamondbacks. I'm going to do the dang thing, right? You got guys like Kenley Jansen going to Boston, resurrecting their career, right? I am a closer amongst the greats. This guy says, like, everything is happening in baseball. If you're not watching baseball, you're missing out because every game matters. Every game is being played with intensity, and it's shown when we get things wrong. Here on this podcast, yet again, we were wrong. We are the podcast that is not afraid to admit that we were wrong. We gave praise to a team we should have never given praise to, and we should have known better. We said the Angels were hot. They were ready to keep Ohtani. About a month ago, we sat here and we told you, look at the Angels. They're competing. They're in first place. They're competing with the Astros. They're now sub 500. None of us are Angels fans, by the way. We just like to keep it true. We like to keep it honest and brevity. We've given love to the Diamondbacks. We've given love to the Rays. We've given love to the Marlins. We've given love to the Angels. We've given love to the Dodgers. We gave love to so many, the Reds. We've given love to so many teams. And the Angels are right now heading into this all-star break, are sub 500. Ohtani was one hit away from hitting for the cycle, and they got blown out by the Dodgers, right? The Angels, Big Z. Talk to me, man. What is going on with the Angels, bro?
They've lost 9 out of the last 10 games. It's obvious that their experiment last year when they put Shohei Ohtani on the trade block to see what kind of offers they were going to get, it's blown up in their face. They should have traded him last year. If they do trade him this year, which I think they still need to, but they're definitely not going to get the haul that they would have last year. I just think that they're just not a good team all around. They have Phil Nevin as their manager. He's a first-time manager. He's going through all the roadblocks and speed bumps that all rookie managers go through. They're being destroyed right now by the injuries. I have a list of the guys who are on the injured list. You have Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon, who is by far the worst contract that's ever been signed in Major League history.
Worse than Joe Kelly.
Worse than Joe Kelly. Yes, worse than Joe Kelly.
That's an inside joke. That's an inside joke for everybody listening.
Zach Neto, Brandon Drury, Logan O'Hoppe, Gio Urshela, Matt Moore, Ben Joyce, Max Stassi, and Joe Adell. All those guys are on the injured list. That's like almost their whole starting lineup.
Terrible.
Which is crazy. So that's what's going on in Anaheim. That's what's going on for the Anaheim Angels. They are the Anaheim Angels of Anaheim. And I feel so bad for Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. Like, these guys are wasting their prime years. And it looks like Mike Trout has wasted all of his prime years. It looks like he's finally starting to fall off.
Coming back to earth. Yeah.
And because he's getting hurt a little bit more. He's just not the guy that used to be. I hope they trade them both, but I really hope that Shohei Ohtani gets out of there, whether it's at the trade deadline this year or whether it's in free agency, because I need those guys to be in the playoffs. You're talking about MLB growing, and it's doing such a good job of it. If those guys are in the playoffs, it's going to grow even more. It's going to be such a fun time. I saw a quote the other day from Mike Trout. He asked Mookie Betts in the World Baseball Classic. He asked him, "Is this what the playoffs are like?" It's so sad. So sad. So it's a travesty that those two are trapped on this team, and I hope they get freed really, really soon.
It's sad, Mitch.
They
I know you're not
those contracts. They signed those contracts. They're not trapped. They took the bag, and that's on them. You know, the Angels make weird decisions. And you're right, the Rendon contract is probably the worst one. $245 for 7 years is definitely worse than the Albert Pujols one that I thought was the worst for $240 for 10 years.
He's only played like 50 games each season with them. Like, he hasn't played over 50 games, which is crazy.
The Angels are bad. They've always been bad. Basically, once you go south of LA, you don't get good as a team. You just don't. You can call yourself LA. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. But the Los Angeles Dodgers of Los Angeles are much better, well-managed team than the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
You know, when I look at this team, Big Z, and I think you touched on it right there, there was a key point for sure. The Angels had the bag. Last year, ESPN, you listen to guys like Stephen A. Smith who are telling you that, the Angels need to trade this guy, right? Stephen A. Smith doesn't know baseball. Okay. They absolutely need to trade him right now, but this is not their optimal time. Okay. If Stephen A. Smith was being honest, he would have said last year they needed to trade Ohtani, right? This is the same thing we said about Dame, right? When you're a Trailblazers fan saying, I don't know about trading like Damian Lillard, trade him. You're not going to win next year anyway. It doesn't matter. All you're going to lose is value. Ohtani, same boat. Last year, the owner of the Angels came out and said, "Hey, I'm interested in trading Ohtani. Who's interested? I want your 4 baseball-ready prospects." And every team, including the Dodgers, if you haven't watched the Dodgers or teams like, look, I'm a Dodger homer, so that's the team I know the most. When you look at a guy like Bobby Miller, who's had an immediate impact on the rotation in LA, when you look at every team was like, here's our top 4 guys, done. Send us Ohtani. And the Angels, we're just kidding. You're not going to get that haul. You are not going to get that same haul because every team knows they're going to have to re-sign him. They don't even have another year guaranteed with this dude. They're going to have to give him the bat. He's going to be the highest paid player ever in MLB history because he's the only player ever in MLB history doing the things that he's doing. So the idea, they missed their boat. They missed their time. Go ahead and trade him now, but you're not going to anywhere close get to the players that you would have gotten last year if you had traded him when you needed to. Finally, wrapping up baseball, Big Z. Tampa Bay started so hot. Okay, and they're still good. They're still in first place over the Yankees, over the Red Sox, over all those teams. We know the AL East is the best division in all of baseball. You look at a team like the Orioles, which is giving it to the Yankees, right? It's a great division. Tampa Bay still over them, but they lost 7 in a row, right? Phillies, Braves, they played some good Mariners, they played some good teams, but they still lost 7 in a row. Big Z, heading this All-Star break, if you're a Tampa Bay Rays fan, you a little nervous? What are you thinking right now?
I'm a glass half full guy.
Okay.
If I'm a Tampa Bay Rays fan, I'm happy. This is the best team that we've ever had. We've never led the AL East at the All-Star break. This is the most wins we've ever had at the All-Star break. So as a fan, I'm okay with it. I've been through worse. I've been through over 100 lost seasons. This team is a really, really good team. Kevin Cash is a great manager. The roster that they have compiled and put on the field it's a great team and they're going to be fine. This is part of baseball. Every team goes through slumps. We saw last year, the Dodgers had so many wins, the most in their franchise history, yet they went through slumps. They got swept by the Pirates, the lowly Pirates. Like, this is just part of baseball. I'd rather have that on this side of the All-Star break than rather later on in the season. Their bats went cold. That's, to me, if I'm going to go through a slump, I'd rather have my bats go cold than all my pitchers forgetting how to pitch, right? Because you need those pitchers to be consistent. Sometimes guys just go cold. And the fact that they all did at the same time together, I think is a kind of a blessing in disguise. They're going to be fine. They just destroyed Elder today on the Braves, one of their best pitchers. He's an all-star. He only went 3.2 innings. He gave up like 7 runs. They thrashed him. So I think their bats woke up at the right time. They have an all-star break a week to take off. I think they're going to be fine. I'm not going to overreact to it. This is just baseball.
He ain't overreacting. Mitchie, you overreacting, you let him know the Red Sox are going to get hot and come for him?
Hey, I mean, yeah, I am. Because last 10 games, Red Sox are 8-2. You're all at 3-7. I mean, yeah, all right, cool. It's the All-Star break. We're gonna come back all refreshed and stuff. Yeah, that's fair. But
Swept
I mean,
the
Red
A's.
Sox,
Good job.
okay, yeah. Oh, now it's just like a big deal with the A's. But you guys wrote, perfect game against the A's. The A's should be relegated. I'm gonna bring back relegated. They should be sent down.
Relegation.
Well, if you did that, then those
Relegation.
Red Sox wins wouldn't count. The 3 wins that they just had against them wouldn't count. So I don't.
Whatever.
What are you saying?
Still fight. We're hey, take the 3 away. We're still 5-3 against the Tampa Bay.
Right.
So I mean, they're number 1 in the East. It's the hardest one. It's an amazing division. Baseball is doing some amazing things that. I mean, even me, who's like, I love soccer, I love football, and sometimes I love football and I love football. So for me to also love baseball this season has been a great thing to watch. Watching in Tampa Bay, I hate that they're in my division for the team that I love, so that's annoying. But at least, for the most part, I don't have to watch the Angels play.
That's facts.
That would just be so hard.
That's a blessing right there.
Shohei's doing great. Oh man, it's got to be like watching the Chargers play.
Yep.
It's very similar. Listen, Boston is in last place with a very, very respectable 48-43 season. That's how good that division is. They're 2 games out of the wild card. They're right there. That's a great division of baseball. We love it. If you're not watching, watch baseball. Look, we had a great episode tonight. We had some fun with you. We talked about NFL. We talked about some soccer. I got on a soapbox for no reason at all, just railing against the NBA. It is what it is. And now we finished up with some baseball. Big Z, say bye to the people. Big Z, you have some fun?
All right, that was an awesome episode. There was so much passion tonight. Fire takes from Mitch. Thanks for coming on, dude. I can't wait to have you back really soon for our fantasy football stuff, our mock drafts, and if I'm in the league with you guys, and well, you'll be a part of ours, but I'm going to beat you and I'm going to double down on it right now, and we can make a bet on it. And then you can pay off that bet later on in another episode down the line. So I'm excited, but thank you guys so much. Love you guys.
Now we're going to have to come up with a creative bet because you got to be able to do it on the YouTube. We need people to be able to watch it so we get more views. Mitchie Muffins, say bye to the people. Did you have some fun tonight?
People, adios. It was great to finally be on the podcast, instead of me just yelling in my car in traffic at these 2 numbskulls. It was great time, great passion. Again, relegation is what the USA needs. I will stand on that soapbox till I die. But I think that's what's going to make sports even better in this country. I think it's the next big step that we're never going to take, but I don't care. And
no, I'm never. Yeah.
I will take your bet. And unless you get first place, you're not going to beat me. I guarantee you. I'm coming for second place.
Okay.
I don't shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars. So I'll just be happy amongst the stars because I never win. So I'm just going to be happy with my second place.
Mitch is coming for second place.
Sounds like
You
Landon
heard it-
Donovan.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Our very own Landon Donovan. We love you. Thank you so much for listening. Again, you're all amazing. Keep watching. Keep listening. We're on YouTube, Brevity Sports. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Name it. Brevity Sports. Go follow. Go watch. Go. All the things. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell everybody. We'll end this episode as we always do with a very simple thank you for listening.